Hello friends, welcome back to another episode of r/IDontWorkHereLady. It's been a while since I've done this subreddit, and I still don't understand how these encounters happen as often as they do. In this episode, you'll hear about a really dense guy who thinks a fire investigator is a fast food worker, how one girl gets some petty revenge on a mishap in a gas station, and we'll end with a wholesome story about ice cream workers. I hope you stay for all the stories today, and subscribe for future videos. This one's titled, There Was a Fire, and No, You Can't Have a Cheeseburger. I'm a fire investigator for insurance companies. A few days ago, I was at a fire at a super common fast food restaurant helping another investigator process the scene and dig. All the fun parts of my job without any of the responsibility or report writing. It was so cold that if you farted too wet, your ass hair would freeze. So I was in my black coveralls and my black Carhartt with a baseball hat and a regular N95 mask because fires in fast food restaurants are gross, you know? I looked in no way like a restaurant employee. Even with the black clothes, you can tell I was covered in soot and debris. And what restaurant employee wears an N95 respirator that's been stained black? I was standing outside in the parking lot with another investigator that was there, and we were chatting, taking a break from being in the grossness from inside. The parking lot has been filled with debris. On one end of the parking lot, there's a 9-foot tall pile of random burnt shit. On the other side, in front of the drive-thru, are all the roof ventilation systems that are half burnt and melted in a big pile. There's caution tape everywhere. And there's a goddamn fire engine parked at one entrance of the parking lot with their lights on, blocking the entrance. There's no way to misunderstand what had happened in this building. A man in an old van drives by with his window down, slowly staring at us. He has this inquisitive look on his face. He drives past the first entrance, then attempts to turn into the entrance blocked by the fire engine. He backs out, turns around, then turns into the other entrance, headed right for us. The other investigator wisely caught on to what was about to happen and whispered to me, "Good luck," leaving me alone with the van guy. Anyway, the van guy drives around the big-ass pile of ash and stops in front of me. He says, "Hey, what happened here?" I replied for what feels like the millionth time in my career and said, "There was a fire." He says, "Oh, what started it?" And for the millionth time, I replied, "That's what we're here to figure out." He says, "Oh, okay. Well, do you think I can have a cheeseburger and a medium fry?" I tried very hard not to say what I truly wanted to say, which was some variation of, "Do I look like a fast food worker?" I told him that no, there was a fire, and you can't have a cheeseburger. He then proceeded to ask, "Well, can I have a large Coke then?" Again, no, there was a fire. You can't have a fucking Coke. You know how you can see when someone has a moment where they have a moment and it finally clicks? This guy had that. He looks at me and asks very intently if I work there. I say, "No, I'm here investigating the fire." He then asks, and I'll never forget it, "So they're closed?" Feeling like I've met the universe's densest star, I replied, "Yes, because there was a fire." He finally just says, "Oh, okay, well, bye," and just drives away and out of my life. I'm still not sure how he truly understood why he couldn't have his food. I walked back inside, and the guy who left me with the guy out there asked me how it went. It's probably safe to assume that you won't be getting what you're there for if there's fire trucks outside of an establishment, caution tape everywhere, along with a bunch of burnt stuff outside in the parking lot. Some people lack common sense. This one's titled, I Ignored Your Daughter? Alright, I'll pay for gas then. Okay, this happened about a year ago, so the details are a little fuzzy. I was 24 at the time, a little on the chubby side, medium-length blonde hair, and I couldn't fight my way out of a wet paper bag. This will be important, I promise. I used to work at this gas station by the highway, and was there for about 3 years before being fired. On my way to a date night with my boyfriend of 3 years, I decided to stop for gas and to check in with some friends who started working there. They were rather busy that afternoon, so I pumped my gas and walked in to grab a coffee. Now the workers there wear a red shirt with the logo stitched on, black business pants, black shoes, and some wore a red hat with the company logo. I was wearing a red knitted dress, tight black suit pants, and heels. I can see where an elderly person with bad vision can mistake me for an employee, but not a young, fit teenage girl and her brainless mother. Anyway, I was getting a small coffee when I made a bit of a mess. Being that I used to work there, I automatically started cleaning the mess, restocked the paper towels, and checked the creamer. The store owner was in the back, and she never minded if I helped out a little when it was busy like this. I had finished cleaning and put a lid on my coffee when I hear someone asking from behind me where the chips are. I thought she may have been speaking to an employee close by, so I ignored her and walked off to the sodas to get my boyfriend his favorite drink. Apparently, the person behind me was a teenage girl and ran off to tell her mother that I ignored her. As I'm grabbing my loved soda, I feel a hand grab my shoulder and yank me around. I don't remember exactly what was said, but it went something like this. The mom said, "Who the hell do you think you are, ignoring my daughter like that?" I, being shocked and confused, said, "Excuse me?" The brat chimes in and said, "I asked you where the chips are, and you ignored me." "I don't know what you're talking about, let me go." I backed up a little to get away from the mother's grip, and she yanked me back. I was able to pull her hand off my shoulder, but it took some great effort on my part. The brat said, "Yes, you do. You were cleaning the coffee station and ignored me." At this point, it was finally clear to me that they thought I worked there. I said, "Oh, I don't work here. I made a mess, and I cleaned the mess. It doesn't mean I work here." Being the sneaky little bitch I was, I decided to have a little fun, and I said, "I'll tell you what. I'll pay for a full tank of gas, and we can forget about this whole thing." The mom said, "Well, that's more like it." She turns with a victorious smile and walks off. The daughter humps at me and follows. I pay for my coffee, my gas, and soda. They won't turn her gas on because they haven't paid yet. I then walk out to my car that's parked close to hers. I said, "All paid for, just give them a few minutes. An employee will be there to pump your gas in a moment. I have a business meeting to get to. Please have a wonderful day." The mom says, "Whatever, just see that it gets done." I smile at her and drive off to my date. I found out from the manager that after an hour of standing out there, she finally came in and screamed at them for not turning the pump on. She even said that I promised to pay for her gas. When she was informed by the manager that I didn't work there and I never paid to have that pump set, she threw a hissy fit that would make toddlers seem like little saints. They banned the lady from the store because she'd started throwing things around the store. They had to call the cops and she was escorted out. A little petty revenge mixed in there was a great touch to the story. As many of you have commented before, anyone who aggressively grabs you and spins you around to get you to talk to them deserves a karate chop, preferably to the throat. I'm kidding, please don't chop anybody in the throat. This one's titled, "The Time I Worked at an Ice Cream Place, but Not For Them." My story's a little different from the typical ones, but I was told you'd like this. Back in high school, I had a summer job working for a local museum's garden project. Since we worked for a museum, we had almost no funding. The head of our project came up with a fantastic idea for funding. We would partner with a local ice cream shop for a day. We would be employees for a few hours, and all the tips would go to the funding. However, since we would only be there for a few hours, we didn't get any training, and no one thought to give us a script to explain the fundraiser, or even tell anyone a fundraiser was even happening. So it was no surprise when a nice old man saw me struggling to make his order, and commented, "Is this your first day here?" "No," I laughed, "I don't even work here." He looked confused, and I explained about the fundraiser, and pointed to my hat with the garden logo on it, and explained that all tips we earned over the next 2 hours would go towards buying manure and seeds for the garden. I said, "We're serving sweets, so we can buy something stinky." Everyone in the line heard my explanation and laughed, and the mood in the shop instantly changed. Instead of people being annoyed at how slow we were getting the ice cream, they started chatting with us about what our actual jobs were, and what we wanted to do after high school. Everyone from the garden started having fun with it, and one kid went as far as offering to let a little kid sniff his hands to prove he didn't have any manure on them. By the end of our time, we had earned almost $200 in tips. We were able to buy seeds, manures, and even had some extra money to buy chickens and build them a coop. Nothing like ending the episode with another wholesome story. Ice cream makes everyone happy, unless you're lactose intolerant, in which case, you'll enjoy it going in, but not coming out. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the stories in this episode. If you aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss future stories. I'll see you guys in the next one.